So music for a while, we're going to talk about structure. So this piece essentially has a ground bass structure, okay? Now the ground bass is a short recurring melodic pattern in the bass which acts as the principal structural element, okay? And you can see the ground bass very clearly because it's here. It's 3 bars long, which is unusual because we usually have 2, 4 or 8 bar sections in music, but that's your ground bass, okay? So it's a short recurring melodic pattern in the bass. It acts as the principal structural element and the melody parts above it change, okay? Could have been also known as a basso ostinato, and it's used in forms such as the chaconne and the passacaglia. And I'll put some examples of that in the wider listening section. This was a common device in the Baroque period. Purcell used it a lot. He's regarded as a bit of a master of it. He used it quite extensively. And he's particularly well known for the one he used in Dido's Lament from his opera Dido and Aeneas, again in your wider listening section. So let's have a look at this ground bass. Let's look a little bit closely at it. So it's 3 bars long. You can see it's entirely quavers. And you can see it's sort of based on arpeggios here, okay? So it's outlining chords. But it does also make use of semitones. So you can see here you've got those semitone patterns that happen, okay? So you've got semitone patterns throughout it. It's not just arpeggio, okay? You can see essentially it rises. So it's going from the bottom A here. You can see it goes up to the top A here. Okay. It's just higher than the A, but essentially that's the rising pattern of an octave. You can see the extra little B there. And then we fall, and we fall because it's about to repeat. So we fall because you can see it comes back to repeat the whole thing again here. Obviously ground bass repetition. So there we go. Okay. We have this fall of the octave, which is quite characteristic, and the reason for that is the cadential 6/4, okay? It's a 1C5-1, but that's a very characteristic ending, okay? So it's actually, if you think about the ground bass going from here to here, just 3 bars, this ending is incomplete because it's ending on a chord 5. And we know imperfect cadences end on a chord 5. We expect there to be more to come. But because we start again with chord 1, it feels like it's a perfect cadence. So structurally, it embeds the harmony within it. So we actually hear it 4.5 times. There's 1, there's 2. Let's get the next one. Here's 3. Let's turn the page. Here's 4. Oh, no, let's scroll the page up. Here's 4, and then we have it 4.5 times before it begins to change. You can see here, that's where it starts to change because we go to a different key. Okay, so that's the 4.5. Okay, I'll delete my error down there. Okay, so there we go. So we have it there. We've said it modulates. We've talked about modulation in the tonality section and the harmony section. And then it comes back. Now it comes back at bar 23. Let's find bar 23 here. Okay, we have an original ground bass return very, very briefly for a little reminder. Notice it starts halfway through the bar though. Okay, so there it is. It's the original ground bass, but it's actually halfway through the bar. Okay, and the notes are there for that one. We then get it back properly for the end of the piece. Okay, so if we find bar 29, which is here, this is where we now have the ground base returning complete. There it is, 1, 2, and 3, and then obviously a slight extension because they want to finish it off, so we finish there with the perfect cadence. So that's the ending in its original key with the full ground bass. Okay. So ground bass is a very Baroque feature. Okay. So this Baroque feature of a ground bass, there's also the fact that it feels like a ternary piece. Later on in the Baroque period, ternary composition was an ABA structure, and that became very, very popular later in the Baroque period for opera arias. You'd have the tune, then you'd have a contrasting section, and then you'd have the first tune come back again, but it would be very highly decorated and embellished by the singer. Okay, so he's sort of looking forward a little bit to the ternary form. So if you think about the fact that we can say that this is an A section with the music for a while, and then we have a B section, it progresses and becomes more interesting. But you can see right at the end that the music from the beginning comes back. Okay, so it says here, reprise of opening material looking forward to the ternary da capo aria structure. So that's where your A section comes back. So it's not a proper ternary form, as we know more obviously, but it is a ternary form in embryo that he's looking forward to what would eventually become a very well used structural device.